Hey, Shalom. I'm going to start by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there listening and learning. Today was some major information today on the Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, and this thing is kicking up. We see the signs of deceit in it. Okay, and we'll point some of those things out. But for all intents and purposes, hey, these things could lead to, the false flag, the issuance of the chip, and ultimately World War III. So we're gonna go into it. And this is from Zero Hedge. It says 2 bridges blown up, trains derailed in Russian regions bordering Ukraine, killing at least 7. It says a lot happened in the Russia-Ukraine war on Sunday, and as the dust settles from Ukraine's major drone attacks, which struck air bases and destroyed strategic bombers deep inside Russian territory, details of other parallel, devastating alleged sabotage attacks are emerging. Okay, and they're saying that they bombed one of their nuclear submarine sites. It says 2 bridges have collapsed in Russia's western regions bordering Ukraine on Sunday morning, which derailed trains and left at least 7 people dead and dozens more injured. It was not clear on Sunday morning whether the 2 incidents, which both involved trains and the neighboring Bryansk and Kursk, were related or what exactly caused the separate collapse, CNN reports. Railway authorities said of the Bryansk incident that illegal interference was the cause, with regional governor Alexander Bogomaz saying the bridge had been blown up. Okay, so we're getting kicked off. Let's play a video here from X. Okay, and they're showing the train derailments.
Главное, чтобы, не дай бог, ничего не было.
Okay, hey, and this is gonna cause, this is gonna rouse them up. Okay, this is gonna cause, a form of nationalism, similar to what you had at 9/11. Okay, when Iraq attacked, whoever the hell attacked, they say it was Iraq or Afghanistan, whoever they say, I forgot right now. But when they attacked the United States, okay, America's patriotism, shot through the roof. Okay, and this could happen right here in Russia as well, man. Okay, because they were saying that the Russians were tired of the war, but when these things happen, people start to wanting to get payback. Okay, and I can't understand, why it's looked at us as something crazy, but that's just the way it is, man. Okay, the scriptures say, let me get it. That's one of the things that a man would love to see, man. Okay. This is the book of Sirach. Maybe I spelled that wrong. Bear with me one moment. Sirach 25:7 says, there be 9 things which I judge in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that hath the joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies. Okay, so that's just natural to feel excited about seeing your enemies fall. Okay, and this is what was gonna happen with Russia, man. Okay, Ukraine is now the enemy. and they're bombing inside of their country, okay, which they said that they weren't gonna do. All right, all to, uphold the enemy of Russia, which is America, man. Okay, so these people, are gonna rise up in nationalism, and this is just gonna escalate the war more. All right, back in the article, it says in a third incident on Saturday night, a Russian military freight train was blown up near the occupied city of Melitopol in Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia region, according to the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine. As a result of this explosion, the train with fuel tanks and freight cars derailed on the railway track, the intelligence service said. The freight train was moving towards Russian-occupied Crimea via a key logistical artery often used by Russian forces, the authority added. Okay, so hey, we getting down to the nitty gritty now. Okay, and we know that Trump said a couple weeks ago, or I think it was a couple weeks ago, he said that he's gonna give Russia 1 week, in order to, come to the terms. Okay, and we're closing in on that time, man. Okay, so believe that America was involved with this. NATO was involved with this. Okay, they did this with the backing of, those people. Okay, and Russia fully is aware of that. Okay, whether they'll tell you on Zero Hedge or CNN, they not probably won't tell you all that, but through the spirit, they know. Okay, and because and the reason why I say they know is because Russia understands that a lot of these weapon systems the Ukraine army doesn't know how to use. Okay, they don't have the training on these different types of missile systems, so it would have to be whoever gave it to them. Like say the Germans gave them, this specific type of weapon. Okay, only the Germans know how to accurately target it. Okay, and Russia knows these things. Okay, so all they got to do is go in there and see what missile hit it. Okay, and then they can say, well, the Ukrainians wouldn't be able to do this. Okay, all right. So, the Lord is putting the spirit back in these devils. Okay, specifically back, in the Russians. Okay, and this is fulfilling Ezekiel 38. All right. It says, "In the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, and the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Okay, and when we go into that word, chief prince, okay, let's look at it. The chief, okay, it says,
Strong's H, 7218. Ramath Negev. Ramath Negev. Second entry. Rosh.
Rosh. Okay, and that's the point right there. Rosha. So this is talking about Russia. Okay, and it says, and say, thus saith Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaw. And this is what the Lord is doing with these strikes. Okay, he's fermenting the Russian people, okay, to get back into that unified state, okay, which they were in the time of USSR during the Cold War when they faced threats from the rest of these NATO countries, okay. But when the Cold War ended, these people went back to their lands. They got back comfortable, and the party basically just everybody just went home, okay. But now they're coming together again, okay, because what it looks like is the Cold War is back on. Now it's about to be the hot war. Okay, so the Lord is turning them back into that great bear and bringing all those countries in that region together. And he's adding more countries to it. Okay, because this is going to be the war to end all wars. It says, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, okay, which is Iran, all right, and we know that the Amalekites, the so-called Jewish people, are foaming to go to war with the Persians. Okay, so this looks very strategic, on the part of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, where he's getting all these countries, all these nations, right? He's gathering up. Okay, and Russia is so part of that USSR now is going to include Iran, okay, Ethiopia and Libya, all right, and a lot of them Syrians, okay, that are being taken out of that land where they're in right now, okay, and the Palestinians, okay, that they're killing, they're massacring and slaughtering over there, a lot of them are being sent to Libya. Okay, this is where they're running to from getting over there. They're running into Libya. Okay, so that's why the Lord put them in there and put this nigga on the list right here. This damn demon that wants to come up and start screaming and hollering. Okay, that's how you know, man. Hey, we getting ready to get into that time. Okay, because this demon just pulls up as soon as I get over here. As soon as I get into talking, about that prophecy, here come this filthy little demon. He looks like a Ukrainian. All right. So, excuse me for that. So Libya will be with them. All of them with shield and helmet. Okay. And these trains are used to bring supplies and things all over Europe. Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised if these trains were going into Iran, okay, and supplying them, okay, with protection, okay, shields and helmets going to protect them, okay. What do you have? The Iron Dome missile shield, okay, the S-400 missile shields, okay. So they're supplying them with these things so they'll be prepared. It says Gomer and all his bands, which is Turkey, and the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, all his bands, and many people with thee. All right, which maybe could include Pakistan, North Korea. Okay, many people are gonna be involved in this. Okay, it says, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." All right. So more than likely, this is a strategic try by Esau, Edom, Babylon, to try to thwart this prophecy. All right, but it ain't gonna happen. All right, so let's go back to the article. Matter of fact, that was the end of the article, but there was another one I had. Let me see if there's anything in there. All right, so we getting down to the nitty gritty out here. All right, and these devils, man, they're getting it together. What else? See. Right here it says Kremlin. This is a different article. It says Kremlin prepared for all-out conflict with NATO Institute for War. Okay, the hawkish Washington D.C. based think tank. Okay, and these think tanks, all right, these are the brains of the government. Okay, they don't ever talk about these too much, but these are the people, who, are coming up with all these different, ideas and ways to try to continue to further their system. Okay, you got the Tavistock Institute. You got a whole, matter of fact, let's look up a think tank. Okay, just for edification sake. Okay. It says right here, okay, a think tank is an organization that conducts research and analysis on specific policy issues or scientific problems and it also can include war tactics, offering expertise and advice to decision makers and the public. They aim to influence policy, often focus on particular areas like economic security or international relations. Think tanks are distinct from university research institutes and advocacy organizations. They play a crucial role in bridging the gap between academic knowledge and policy decisions. Okay, so make no mistake about it. These people are very influential in the things that go on in America. Okay, and you know that they are because they never talk about them. Okay, and the people who they don't talk about, that's who you need to watch. Okay, let me get a scripture. This is the book of Psalm 64 and 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Okay, because these think tanks, most people don't even know what the hell that is. You go into the hood, you go into the projects, and you say a think tank. Hey, these niggas thinking about pools and they don't know what the hell that shit is. They thinking about swimming pools and aquariums and shit when you say shit like that. Okay, they say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Okay? Because, hey, these devils be on the block. They got that whiteboard with the racing marker. They over here talking about this, that. They got the computer out. They putting it into the DeepSync AI, the Gronk AI. They got supercomputers that's the size of a Target supermarket, man. Okay? This is what they doing. It says, but Yahweh Bashem Yahushua shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. Okay, and we know that the Lord uses, these nations and their army as his to fulfill his cause. Okay, so we're seeing that, right? And Russia is prepared to go to war with NATO. All right, and why are they so prepared to go to war with NATO? Because they know that they have China with them, okay, Iran with them, okay, that whole the eastern region of Asia, Eastern Asia. So it's basically going to be Eastern Asia versus Western Asia, okay, and the Lord is gathering them. Let's see what the article says. It says Putin is likely setting legal conditions to allow the Russian government to commandeer elements of Russia's economy and DIB should the Kremlin introduce full martial law. Call law Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? So they about to implement full martial law over there. Okay? And best believe if a rocket hit over here, martial law is coming over here too. Okay? So this is exactly what we was looking for. It says, should Kremlin introduce full martial law in order to transition the country to a full wartime footing? Alright, so we getting into this shit right now. I just wanted to let y'all know, make sure, y'all on point. Okay, prayed up, fasting, anointing oils and all that. You're going to need all that. So this is the book of Joel 3:1. It said, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations. Okay, so we see, man, hey, brothers ain't out here for nothing. The Lord is gathering his people. Hey, whether they here or they forbid. It say, and I will also gather all the nations. So this coincides with that. All right. It says, and it will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and my heritage, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land, and that they have cast lots for my people, and given a boy for a harlot and a girl for wine that they might drink. Okay, and I'm going to jump down. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And I don't know if y'all seen that new Mission Impossible, okay? But that's exactly what this thing was about, man. Okay? They was letting off nukes at the end of that, man. Or they was preparing to. Okay? So this is the temperature, this is the global warming that they're talking about. Okay? Shit's getting ready to get hot. Ain't gonna be no more Cold War. Okay? We having a raising temperature. It's about to be the hot war. So it says, bleach your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about to the cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let the heathen be awakened and come into the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the nation, all the heathen round about. Okay, and we see the mighty ones coming. The elder Apostle Tahar, just put up the video how they seen a chariot bigger than the sun. Okay, the mighty ones is coming down, man. Okay, because the Lord is gathering up His people, and He's about to make things go on. He's about to make things pop. The party's about to pop. All right. So, I just wanted to bring those couple articles out. See if we can get out of there. I didn't even see that Russia was about to bring in martial law, but hey, that's the spirit, man. Okay, and you can see the looks on these guys' faces, man. Okay, it looks like it doesn't look too comforting the way they looking, man. Okay, it looks like they understand that a lot of changes are about to come. All right, so again, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need everything: prayer, fasting, anointing oils. You're gonna need brothers to pray for you. You're gonna have to be, in good standing, oiling your lamp and everything. Good standing right here. Okay, so do your best in these days, man, because it looks like the time is very short. All right, all it takes is one little thing for martial law to get kicked in. They start putting up them chipping stations. Okay, they got all kind of immigrants in here, all different kind of people. They'll probably use that, as an excuse. We want to make sure, nobody slip through. Hey, come down here and get your chip, or you'll be considered an enemy combatant. All right, so that's all it's gonna have to take. And we right there. Hey, I'll end it. Lord's will, you was edified. I'll end it by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakach Hodash. Hey, shalom to you brothers and sisters out there listening and learning. Lord's will, you being edified.